It has been the longest off-season of SRA. The rust has been wiped off and the cars are revved up and ready to go. Welcome to SRA.
We're off and away for SRA. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Watkins, Glen, for this, our final race here in the SRA GT3 Team Series Division 4 Championship. We're so excited to have you here tonight. If you're following along with us, we got quite a heated battle going on for the drivers' standings, and still looking like THR Boot has their boot on the neck of everyone else in the overall team standings at the moment. I'm joined here, of course, as always, by Rafa Stolfo, who is kindly has hosted all these broadcasts for us along the way this season. And if you're here with us, you'll know his voice. Raph, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and yes, welcome everybody to the season finale here at the Glen. You know, I've been waiting for this really close. A couple of drivers heading into the finale here, super close, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We got a lot of things for you guys tonight. A couple of things as we're going to keep you updated as far as driver standings go throughout the race. But yeah, I'm excited to see here at the Glen. It's one of my favorite tracks. I think a lot of people have favorite tracks all around. So, but yeah, before we get into the whole, of course, qualifying session, all that, we're gonna go ahead and bring you our track map. Let's move that over. Show you guys a little bit of the Glen here. As you can see there, see track Watkins Glen with a little moon next to it, and that means the race is at night. So we're gonna keep that in mind once we head into New York, United States. Watkins Glen track is just about 5.5 kilometers long, 3.5 miles around, if you want to prefer that unit of measure. 11 turns, and you can see there on your left-hand side, 3 sectors. You got that really fast first sector. As you get down to turn 1, you go up the hill there, all the way through turn 4, so to speak, right before you hit that start of your sector 2 at the bus stop. You head down the hill, back down to turn 6, you head to the boot area. That's about the end of sector 2, turn 7 at the toe. You come around into turn 8, negotiate 4 more turns as you get to turn 11, and that is your lap at Watkins Glen. Now, before we head to the cameras, as usual, we're going to take a look at the standings, and this is going to be interesting to see what things can happen here tonight. So let's switch that over. Give us a second here. And standings have been updated as of penalties and all that has been applied, so to speak. So you can see there, Nick Wagner, THR Heel with that lead, 528 points. And Dudley has been outstanding the entire race, 521 points, so just 7 points behind Nick there. And in P3, we have Chris Sweeney, who has been consistent the entire season. THR Boot Team, 508 points, so 20 points behind the leader. And P4, Andrew Berg, THR Boot, 471 points, although, 57 points behind the leader, but still with chances, so it's obviously something you want to mention. And the last driver with a chance with him mathematically could technically still happen. We have Selena there with a P5. If it still doesn't happen, you can say that she's got that Porsche up there at the top of the standings. Amazing drive so far. And then with her teammate Jess Osborne right behind her. P7, we have Austin Weiss-Carver. And we have P8 leading the Silvers, Curtis Adams, 362 points. He's had a great race. And P9, Big Daddy, his teammate. And P10, Eduardo Rodriguez, for your individual standings. And before we head over to our team results, well, for now, before the end of our season, let's take a look here. Again, THR Boot with Andrew Berg, Chris Sweeney, 979 points. Have been super consistent all season long. P2, Comic Racing, Jess Osborne and Selena Boonstra, 825 points, with still a chance there to possibly take, again, depending on results on the final here in round 8. And your third spot goes to Rapid Raccoons, Big Daddy Curtis Adams, 723 points. And that being said, let's move over to our race view and bring in the action. And you can see there, field practice just about to end as, look at that, focus right over Mr. Osborne on his Porsche as practice is about to come to an end. But anyways, Adam, what do you think about tonight? What are a couple things you want to bring up to our viewers' attentions?
Well, I guess first, since we're going into it right now, as you see the lights go down, as you'd say, as we start qualifying. This qualifying session's got a little more weight on it for those top 4 drivers because, in case our viewers aren't familiar, a fastest qualifying lap gets 1 additional championship point. So each point counts, especially today, where we see the points battle separated only by 7 points for those top 2 spots right now between Wagner and Durite. So it's really going to be important that they get a good start and also a good start on the day, because track position is going to be important at a track like Watkins Glen, where pretty much everybody's really familiar with this track and it tends to be a favorite among these drivers. So expect to see really equal times, and once everyone's established in a position, it's probably going to do similar to last week and spread out just a little bit. So expect that. And like we said, definitely going to be a really important qualifying session.
Yeah, as you mentioned, qualifying here, even though the track here at the Glen, it's got a lot of straights, and what you mentioned, there's not many passing opportunities, well, to do it safely, I would say, right? So if you get a better exit of turn 11, you can challenge it to turn 1. And, you know, basically try to throw the person ahead of you off a little bit if that's something you want to do. Or leading up to the boot, if you get a better exit out of turn 1, leading all the way up the hill to the, not to the boot, excuse me, to the bus stop. If you can challenge them all the way to the bus stop, you can, you know, make life more complicated for the other driver, if that's something that you want to attempt an overtake. But everywhere else on the track, it can be a little tough. It's just not enough. The straights are just not long enough for you to try to challenge an overtake. You end up getting stuck behind the driver until, you know, basically, well, the finish line or up to the bus stop. So it's going to be interesting. I think these guys need to bring their A game for qualifying here. That's going to be huge. And one thing to mention, as we're talking about here, special rules, I would say. I mean, again, a pit entry here at Watkins Glen leads all the way to practically the racing line of turn 11. And drivers have to be really careful not to cross that yellow line on your left-hand side as you're getting to the pit. Make sure that you do not cross that because the penalties will be applied. So if you're getting to the pits, stick to the right, go all the way through. Do not let your tires go over that. So that could, again, take huge implications at the end for points. So, and we're coming around here. Looks like Adams, our season leader, will be leading us out here for the first valid lap as he crosses that line. A couple things to mention about the Glen, and just on my own personal level here. It is a track that I've visited before with a couple of friends. You Adam himself. It's one of the most fun events you can be at, and one of the most fun tracks you can attend. It's just such a traditional track around the world, and everybody knows at Watkins Glen. NASCAR races, you're incredibly busy, but you know, it is easy, like I said, one of my favorite tracks because I've also been visited personally. So you can never go wrong with the Glen.
No, absolutely not, which is why it makes such a great place for a showdown here between these 4 drivers for the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Like we said before, team standings pretty much wrapped up unless something absolutely major happens with the 2 drivers in THR boot. But we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the point standings throughout the race, and we'll be keeping you guys updated with this little addition this week. I can pull that up real quick.
We're going to see that in our picture-in-picture and try to give you guys an updated view live. There it goes.
So we're going to try to keep these standings updated live for you so you can keep an eye on who needs to finish where and how tight those points battles are going to be throughout this race. And we'll see who comes out on top tonight. I know, obviously, we have our favorites. Those 3 drivers, Nick Wagner, Chris Sweeney, Andrew Berg, all part of the THR crew, which we happen to be affiliated with. But Dudley Do Right has run an absolutely amazing season as well, so definitely can't count him out of this. All of them have been fast so far in practice. It's really hard to say who has a leg up this week.
Yeah, and you've seen a couple of drivers, too, do quite well on some tracks. I'll remember Rodriguez. He actually turned that win back in Donington. You had an outstanding race there. Remember, he just came through at the end. But, you know, and again, Glen, being a track that a lot of folks are familiar with. Practice race, I believe yesterday, a couple of drivers had some pretty good, pace. Dudley himself, I believe Chris Sweeney, and Nick Wagner and Dudley himself also had pretty good pace all across this. We see Adams through the bus stop there a little too hard and still trying to get his Porsche under control. It looks like he's good. He's going to go for another lap, though, but yes, you know, it is going to be very interesting to see how it turns out. And again, this is our first night race. You can see there qualifying is taking place at 8 p.m. Track is optimal. It's quite cold, so it's a 21 degrees Celsius for both ambient and track. And not much wind going on here tonight. Giving an update, we'll switch over to Mr. Unnamed Friday, by the way. Currently with a provisional silver lead. As it's going through that bus stop, and you got to be really careful. When you nail the bus stop the proper way, is just so nice, and it just requires quite a little bit of practice to make sure you do nail that. And you got to trust your car at times. You just, you know, you almost bottom out as you're going through it, and you just say, "Oh, please, car, don't spin." and you just, that happens to give you the fastest lap time around the Glen. So, and Eduardo Rodriguez, oh man, so yes, thanks for tuning in, man. So never forget my first win. Yeah, like I said, I mentioned to you during that we brought in for an interview. I haven't won a race, let's say official. I mean, I got a P2 once, and you took that win. You got to take that, and like I said, it's not easy to do so, and you're able to bring that home. So congrats on that, that's for sure. And sad you're missing tonight, though, here at the Glen. But we hope to see you next season, though. It'll be fun. You know, we always had fun here at SRA. And Ian also saying, what a great idea, guys. Love the live standings. Yeah, that's here Adam coming up with a little spreadsheet sort of thing going on here to keep you guys updated as the race goes on. So we'll pull that up for you guys during the race. If you know anybody decides to pit, so once they do, they come out way back on the standings. Those they're gonna change quite a bit if they pit at different times. As we see Friday, they're just kind of getting a little loose there on turn 1 into the wall. He will be retiring to the pits after that. And we do have Matt Morrison here coming around with his Red Bull McLaren, so he's got a little bit of a mix there. There we go. Really great looking livery, almost, yeah, definitely worthy of the Red Bull F1 team, I would say. And he's currently got that lead with a 44.892 as he comes around the toe of the boot. Interesting thing to mention, of course, GT races do take the entire boot sector here of the Glen, and when you have different categories of racing, they actually cut this entire sector of the track. They just go straight down the line. Whoa, as we see Payan spinning there. Everything's safe. And yeah, as it comes around, right around this part, you can see there's a track coming from the bottom of your screen. You cut the entire boot. NASCAR usually does that. So it's a track that's used for many different categories of racing. Morrison must have got spooked a bit by the Payan spin. He's not improving this lap, but we have Wicks, which is starting a new lap just now, and Hacksaw coming with a pretty good lap around turn 11. We'll see if he's able to jump maybe a bit. He lost a little bit of time there on the last turn. And he improves his time, but not able to take that P3 from Wicks. He's going to give it another go. And drivers still improving on their deltas, by the way, so getting their tires up to proper temperature and pressure. Somebody we want to take a look at. We have Yasirski. He's just starting on this lap, had a pretty good run up to the bus stop here. We'll see if he's able to keep this up and improve. He's currently P8. And Hacksaw was right ahead of him, giving it a go again. Pretty good lap so far for him. The top 4 drivers not improving, but Hacksaw had with a pretty good race last week and coming alive here at the end of the season. So coming through the toe. And Friday, by the way, P7, who had the lead provisionally earlier, he's improving his lap as well. We got a yellow on the track. Otero right at the exit of the toe again, and that's a part, Adam. I always talk about the toe. Depending on the car you have, you need to really modulate that the throttle, and your car gets super loose on the rear. I remember having issues with the Audi in particular, and I think most mid-engines, you just push a little too much gas out of the toe, and you just end up, you can spin, and well, it's game over there for you. So, oh, who's in the back there? Whoa, Linson and Yasirski into the wall. As Hacksaw crosses the line, Morrison with the lead still, but just 0.33 for P2, so he's going to give it another go. He crossed the line before the 10-minute mark, which will give the D4 Go drivers, and he abandons. He says, I'm okay with that P2. I'll go to the pit, I go. We have Friday coming through here. Swinging around turn 10 into 11. You can see there a little bit of that pit lane that was talking about. It's literally on the race line. You have to be really careful. Anybody pitting does have preference, so you make sure you go wide. And you're not able to improve. And we have Q Master still coming through with his lap there. The last sector here, sector 3. Once he goes through here, 2 turns to go. He's improving his time. He might jump a few positions if he keeps this up. Absolute goal on the apex. Make sure you don't go wide there. Invalidate your lap. Downshift a bit here, and now he goes onto the straight. Might get him a few positions here, maybe P8. And he goes P8 for Q Master right there at the end. Puts Yazurski and Koyan away there for right at the end of their qualifying session as the Go drivers are out on the track. And so we got the whole group of folks, and we'll see who is going to be leading us. But before we do so, we have Rose still on a valid lap. Coming around, he's currently P12.
P12, about a half second up on previous best.
Now, might get a P10 for him here. He loses a bit of time there. We'll see as he goes.
Makes up a little time off the final corner.
And, yep, crosses, puts Watson P12, so takes that P11.
At a 46 flat, pretty good lap.
And leading the drivers, here we go. Who's that?
Yep.
Mr. Dudley.
Right.
Leading the golds. He's out there for, he is in. He wants that win. You know he does. And thankfully we got his livery here tonight, as he did say. He got that updated so we can see his livery for the finale. Looking really, really nice. Let's see if we can get a zoom in on that for them as he comes up the hill into the bus stop. There we go. That's a better view as the camera zooms in. Very nice looking McLaren for Dudley. And Walkowicz has gotten a yellow there. Looks like he's out of the track for a bit. Give you guys a little bit of an Easter egg here for you guys to take a quick look at what the THR team is named after. So Dudley goes around. Switch the camera over to Wagner. You don't see there on the name underneath his livery, however, as far as his THR heel. And you wonder where that's from here at the Glen, right? Looks like that'll be like 11, 10, 9, turn 8. Named after the Glen. And we'll switch over to Berg. And you can see there, Team Highlands Racing, that is THR boot. So they must love that entire boot sector of the Glen. Dudley with the first lap of the gold drivers here in D4 coming through. He sends it right to P1 on first lap. He is not here to mess around. What a lap from Dudley.
I tell you another driver to watch who could be a spoiler in all this, who was really, really fast last night in the practice race, is Maxi Poe, who doesn't look like they've come across the line quite yet. But that number 223 McLaren, keep an eye out for that. Definitely going to be a threat for that top spot. Like I said, was super fast last night, hanging with the D3 drivers and passing most of them, actually. So that could throw a wrench in things, potentially, and maybe steal that extra point that I'm sure Dudley would love to have.
Yeah, he's about to put his first battle lap here, but looks like I might have some issues at first, but he's going to go in again, so we'll keep an eye on Poe.
And while we're discussing that, Maxwell came across the line, put down a 44.5. That's 3/10 up on what Do-Right had for his P1 lap.
So Maxwell coming through. We hadn't seen him on the practice or anything, but just coming through to crash the party there at the top. Boomstra, P5 right now on her first lap. Wagner, current championship leader, on a P8. Still his first lap. A couple other drivers that put the lap. We have Osborne has put his lap. He's currently in P17. Berg has put in his first valid lap as well, P18. Sweeney has put his first lap as well. He's still on the back of the field. And those are your top 4, with Dudley still hanging on with that P2 right now. Not improving. He's going to go at it again. And a couple of drives. Wagner with a pretty good improvement right now on his second lap. He's 4/10 up on his previous best. That's going to shoot him way up there among the leaders, if he can keep this up. Still gaining time. As Wicks puts his, Wagner's P9 now, as Berg has put a battle lap now. P6 for Berg. They're battling at the top. We're going to keep a little bit of a drive here with Wagner as he comes around. He's got a major improvement coming up and keeping that steady. And, you know, he needs to finish there at the top, as Dudley, P2 at the moment, is already put a lap there at the top. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Berg stands to gain from this too. Like I said, he's in the conversation still, not quite out of it. Should something happen and the top
Wagner.
3 drivers get collected or something, he's on Wagner right to the top. Huge improvement on that lap. He's going to beat Dudley's lap by just 500ths.
Wow.
Told you this is going to be close. They're going to be slugging it out for this top spot.
This is going to be, and Poe put his first lap there. I would say officially he's P8 among the drivers there at the top.
Or sorry, that time was over Maxwell. Maxwell's actually a little bit up right now. Oh, spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
Yep. We'll not mention your name again, Maxwell. We'll just wait until you put another good lap through, man. We apologize.
And Maxwell having a bit of a rough season. Had tons of speed pretty much every week, but just not the finishes lately that show for it. Always a threat in that Ferrari, and expect more of the same today and next season if we see him in D4 again.
Yeah, he's just struck with bad lucks. Like, he's incredibly quick and just not able to be there at the top. But as we see Berg, by the way, coming through with a lap, and P6 now for Berg, Boomster P7.
What did I say? Look down P8. Maxi Poe's up over a half a second.
He is. And he was an absolute lightning last night at the practice, and he wants that pole, and so he's putting his McLaren there. He's just mixing things up.
6/10 up now. Just keeps finding time. 7/10 almost.
He bounced off the wall there at the end, though. That might cost him maybe a P3. Yep.
Just a touch.
Just a touch.
P3. There's definitely more time there, though.
He might. I hope he doesn't have any aero damage from that tap there at the end of turn 11. And he does have about, he's got to go. This is it. He's got a minute and 53, 53, excuse me. So he's got, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go with it again, but you can see it might have affected his aero. He's not improving his delta. And you know who's actually flying now as he's going to start his last lap? Oh, Dudley there negotiating. Not like he's on sector 3, last sector, I meant. And he's got some really big gains there on the last sector. Here he comes.
Yeah, he got pole pace, but it's going to be close. About 2.5 tenths behind. Oh, I say that and gains 2 more tenths.
And he should be up to the leader
right there.
Should be a pole lap right here. Pole lap for Dudley.
Solid execution. Picked up 2 tenths in that last sector.
Wow.
Absolutely massive lap.
This is getting to, this is a battle for the win here. Oh man. Now looks like Wagner is still out there on the track. 53 seconds to go. He's about a minute and 10, so he should cross the line for one more lap to go. We'll see if he's able to improve. And Poe currently P4. He's about 200ths of a second, improving slight bit, but might not be able to get that P3 from Maxwell. And it's very close. We'll see if he does improve, and he does at the end. Oh my God! Look at that difference. P3 for Poe. What a lap for him! And I know who's improving the lap right now. If on top of it is Dudley. He knows Wagner's out on the track, so he wants to extend that best lap. So we'll see this. This is going to be interesting. And by the way, Sweeney was also battling there at the top, currently P3 on the stand. He's in P13 at the moment, also with a little bit of an improvement. So, you know, he wants to get his McLaren as much as he can up on the start. And we can see here, battle for the top. Look at this.
A little bit rough for Dudley through 9 and 10 there. Lost about a 10th. Still a 10th up, though, so we're going to see an improvement here.
Oh, that last, he just swang right out of there.
Solidified.
Yep, he did. He out of that
Done and
last
dusted.
turn. Wow.
Let's see. The only other big movers we got right now, Berg's about 2/10 up right now. He's finding major speed off the final corner.
He did.
3/10 up
3/10. Here he comes. That should be a P3. P5. Yes, I was looking
P5.
wrong. Yeah, great lap for Berg. And Wagner's still out on the track. It doesn't look like he'll be improving. We'll keep an eye on it. It's a little bit. He's close.
Rough go for the third place in points so far. Chris Sweeney sitting 13th right now, about a half a 10th up. Looks like gonna gain maybe 3 spots.
And Maxwell, look at Maxwell's lap. Look at Maxwell.
Almost a half a second out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
Found the magic line that Dudley found just a couple laps ago.
And Wagner not able to improve, so he'll be a P2, but
Ooh, a little wide there in the marbles.
Oh, it looks like Maxwell might have been, looks like that might be a valid lap. He crossed the line after. Yeah, he's got the finish flag. Oh, man. Yeah, there was a little finish flag on next to his. I just saw that. I apologize, guys. So that could have been a pole lap. But, oh, man. Maxwell just bringing up P4 still. He's going to be putting some damage up there at the top, so. As we got 1 hour to go, race time at 10 p.m. here, folks. If you're just joining this season finale here at SRA Division 4. Want to go over, let's see here. Let's go over to our leaders and do a little bit of a little walkthrough before we get going. That will give us a chance to get Dudley's livery here on screen a little bit better. Oh, and I think, Adam, you will most likely have to do that since my my free roaming is acting a little bit weird. As you guys can see there on the stream, it's not working exactly as I would want to. It's kind of shuffling around.
We'll figure it out because I'm currently in timeout from ACC. I have to wait to click the drive button.
That's right. Yep, you got it.
We're both a little stuck.
Yeah, ACC things, folks. As my free cam decides to be stuck into cars and I'm not able to move it entirely. But we'll see about Dudley's car on the track. No worries. But minute and 23 seconds left for the start of our finale here at SRA. And we'll pull up some live standings there throughout the race for you guys. You should come up on our picture-in-picture on the bottom left.
Yeah, we'll pull those up right now. Dudley Do-Right already gained a point from 521 to 522, narrowing it to 6 points after that pole position.
Yes, he has. So he knows he needs to finish at the top. I mean, this is where... you know, he's got an advantage here right now. He's P1. If he's able to nail that P1, it doesn't matter where Wagner finishes. He would overshoot him for basically 4 points at the very moment, if I believe. Well, with an extra point he just got from that pole lap. So it will be close. I mean, again, a 1 hour race. It's long. Things can happen. I mean, I'm excited to see what these guys are going to bring us to the table tonight. Here we go. We have checking on the chat. Daniels, you blew the quali. Where did you end up here, Daniels? And I did not see you. Where? You're P12. You're technically P3 on the silver, folks. So I mean, it's all right. It's no big deal. P12 is still up there at the, you know, among the top of the field. And blew it all the way to P3. That's Poe. So he's able to get that P3. Great lap from him. And we have Selena here so close to a 44. P8 ain't too shabby. Yeah, I mean, P8, you got to give yourself some credit there for P8. With your teammate Jess, they're P9, not too far back at all. So, here we go. Dudley leading us here at the Glen. Getting a little bit of a flash there from Wagner just to get things rolling. There he goes. Nice view there of the cars coming down the main straight. So I gotta say that Dudley, knowing what he needs to do, already got started on the right foot, I would say. Got to give him credit putting his McLaren there at the end, but you know Wagner is not letting this go at all. This is a battle for the championship, and they could easily trade places. Oh, man. I mean, what kind of strategies are we looking for here for the folks? It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with. Are they going to pit right away because of the pit entry scenario? Maybe get that out of the way. You got to also make sure drivers behind you are aware that you're getting into the pit.
I really don't know if you can pit right away. I mean, you really want that separation with how tight this pit entry is. You really got to make sure the people behind you know your intentions, and if it's you got that many people bunched up on the first couple laps like that, I think that's going to be really hard to do. So I think I'm going to guess that we see the majority of the field pit a little bit later, more towards mid-race, or just wait till the end.
Right. I mean, it depends. I mean, there's so many different strategies you can look at. I mean, and if you're there at the front, and let's just say you want to get your pit out of the way, so you get clean air. Maybe if you're, following a huge train of cars, we got to remember there's also you can gain a fastest lap. You do gain a point. Remember that if those are for the leaders. In addition to that pole lap that Dudley has already gotten that extra point. And again, also, you got to really let your drivers behind you know that you're going to pit, so you stick to the right side of that before turn 11. You do not want to get into an incident as you're getting into the pit, and and that could be a race ending right there at the one swipe. So
absolutely, definitely want to see that for anybody. You want to see this points battle play out on the racetrack without having any major incidents or anything like that.
As Dudley coming around there, bringing his McLaren at the top, getting his tires warmed up a bit. Track temperature has dropped 18 degrees, so from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Quite a bit of a drop. Now, we do have the track set at optimum, so the rubber is on the track. No rain that we normally see here at the Glen. Random times when you're visiting in person, looks like it's a dry event. So
always good to see as we see them making their way toward turn 10.
Turn 10. Yep, they're coming down turn 10. We're gotta be really careful too, not to push too wide. You get you go a little too wide there on the curb, you end up getting a track cut. It's not something that the stewardess will be happy about. And after 3 of those, what happens? They will send you to a little bit of a drive through the pits. All right, Adam, take us through the green flag. Here we go.
Off final turn. Dudley Do-Right going to lead us to the start. Nick Wagner alongside. Maxi Poe behind. Green flag is in the air for the final race here at Watkins Glen.
And did Dudley have an issue there at the start? Or, oh my goodness, it's way deep.
Slightly slow there. He sends it in and regains the lead. Wagner had quite a bit of position on there. Wagner's going to cross over and maybe just gets to the inside here up through the S's.
Oof.
He's going to back out of that, which is probably smart this early in the race. There will be time to make moves, but pinching where the track gets really tight right there, probably not the greatest idea. Maxwell
just on
big
the inside.
Gainer here.
Whoa.
Going for P2 now. Looks to the inside, trying to play the head games with Wagner as they come through the bus stop.
Oh, no.
Wagner out of shape, in the wall.
He's back out, loses a few positions, but he's back out on the track.
That was a hard hit, though.
Oh, he does look as he might have some damage, but he is merged back in. He fell down to P10 with Hacksaw.
I can't even describe what happened there. This car just absolutely snapped loose on him. It didn't really look like he hit the grass or anything.
I think there was that one part of that inside curb on exit that just basically bottomed out. So he's still there, though. I mean, he's P9. Did have a little bit of a tap on the wall. We'll see if he decides to pit now or later. Maybe get that damage out of the way if he's got too much damage. But looks okay. I think for now, he's okay. And Dudley, and now with Maxwell just absolutely gunning it there at the front. So creating some issues there for the leaders of the championship. And you saw Maxwell almost challenging Wagner for P2. And you know who has gained 4 spots is Sweeney. By the way, he's up to P5 ahead of Berg, who's dropped a position. So the teammates, they're P5, P6. Now Dudley leading the pack. There's quite a few battles going up the hill. And who's got a drive-through, like Big Daddy with a drive-through. Also, he's P2030. He wasn't allowed to qualify. It was a penalty he needed to serve, so he actually was not allowed to qualify. But he's got a drive-through. On top of this, our first drive-through here to start things off.
Yeah, Wagner in the pits as well after that incident. Looks like he's got some damage to the diffuser and the diffuser in the rear arrow of that car, but he's not going to take the repairs. Just a quick fuel and go for him.
He's going to go for it. He says he's going to bang on mistakes at the front, and it was a perfect stop if you think about it. 5 seconds, 38 out of the pits, so could have been better than that. So he's out, in and out, so he served that out of the way. And still a lot of drivers bunched up here. We have Poe leading a little bit of a train. We have Maxwell opening up. He said Boonstra, they're currently in P4 trying to throw Poe off a little bit as Sweeney is coming through. So Boonstra have to play defense and offense at the same time. Is what Wagner had to do there, right, leading to the bus stop on lap 1. We'll see which one of these drivers decide to pit, but it looks like everybody's sticking on the outside of turn. And Sweeney absolutely glued on the back of Boonstra, maybe challenging her for turn 1. And they're going side by side. And he backs out. He says, maybe, maybe not. Boonstra does not take the bait. And off they go for lap 3. A couple of yellows here. Gino Yasurski, also Big Daddy there at the back, all into the pits. I didn't see any yellows, so maybe that might have been my broadcasting app thinking it's a yellow flag, but not really. They just head into the pits, so that kind of scared me for a bit.
Yeah, just a couple of momentary yellows as the drivers cross the commitment line there for the pits. And as we explained before, that pit entry is going to be really enforced. So, of course, the officiating team will be looking at throughout this race for any violations on pit entry and pit exit. Got to stay inside that yellow line, or white line rather, on pit entry. If you cross that line, it will result in a penalty.
And I'll switch the camera back to Poe, this little train he's leading. Under pressure from both Boomstra, Sweeney, and Berg, and Osborne not too far back. And just checking on the chat, how did Big Daddy get the drive-through? So we didn't catch that on the stream, and I do know he started from the, he had a qualifying ban. So now a drive-through could mean right off the bat, I mean, if you get a overspeed at the start of the race, and if you're over your speed, you're supposed to go that, the stewards will apply that drive-through to you. And that could be something that happened to him at the start. As Boomstra's trying to go on the inside of Poe, let's take a little bit of a drive. Switch over to Boomstra's Porsche. And we got Adams in the pits as well. Again, our broadcast team just scaring me for just a second. Turns yellow for just a split second and goes into the pit. So. And we're going to switch the camera over to Sweeney, who's basically a little bit behind, fell a little behind Boonstra there, but Berg following close. These are, by the way, Sweeney and Berg just cruising around, your team standings leaders, both with chances of winning the championship tonight. Although Dudley there at the top, he's keeping it super steady there, about a 1.5 second lead over Maxwell. Was in P2. Maxwell, fastest lap of the race, by the way. So he's taking that 1 point for now.
Yeah, it'll be the other thing to keep an eye on is that one championship point, of course, for that race, the fastest lap of the race, which we're going to keep an eye on throughout the event.
And by the way, 30 drivers here tonight. It looks like somebody has retired. I just saw their name coming up and just almost disappear. And it was car number 280. And I do no longer see him on my broadcast tab, but it looks like they did leave. It was on the pit and the car just disappeared. So switch the camera over here. Currently in P11 we have Barker. He does have Andrew and Daniels. And it looks like Hacksaw into the pits. He goes. And yeah, again, thanks, Adam. These things are scaring me as they populate on my screen. And talking about checking the chat, Jay Allen, where are you? Well, Jason Allen this is Division 4. So Mr. Jason Allen is in Division 2, so he'll be racing here tonight. Tomorrow night. So tune in tomorrow night, and you will be able to catch it. That would be actually an SRA's Twitch channel. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, go over to Twitch, and you'll see Mr. Allen. Looks like they have spread out a little bit as far as drivers go. So again, quite a few drivers already with their pit stops out of the way. Looks like we have 10 drivers getting their pit stops out of the way. And Big Daddy, who is still out here, has to do a pit stop. He does have a 30-second drive-through he has already served. So he's got that out of the way. Switching over here, that battle there at the top with Poe and Boonstra, and Sweeney and Berg dropped a bit, but Boonstra very wide there on the exit of turn 10, just trying to find a way around Poe, and Poe just using the entire track, and great defending moves so far. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of a wing drive with Poe's McLaren. So we'll switch back over to Barker for a bit as well, and it looks like Andrew and Daniels almost looks like Daniels backed out really quick as Andrew had the outside line on the bus stop and said, "I'm cutting in, man. If my McLaren's here, we're gonna get into it." So Daniels just said, "Oh, all right. Well, I want to save both McLarens. I don't want to end our races, and they live to go for another lap."
Here we go. We got a battle for the lead, side by side. Maxwell dives to the inside of Dudley. Dudley's hanging in there so far. We'll see if he can complete the pass there. He does. Maxwell to the lead.
What a move there, right at the heel. He got a better speed out of the toe, basically, and just clean overtake.
Yeah, massive speed onto that McLaren, but closing in, actually, and gaining time has been Maxi Poe there in the third spot, so I wouldn't count out that 223 McLaren within a couple laps here. If he managed to shake Selena in that white and green plaid Porsche is all over him for that third spot too.
And Dudley's not too happy about that, losing that spot. He's going to go for it again.
Looks to the inside, going up the S's here. As position. That's a risky place to make a move. I don't know about that.
This is dangerous between these guys. Oh, my goodness.
Making it work so far. Going to take that P1 spot right back.
Oh, man. These backs were just coming in to crash the party. Is some backfire there from the McLaren. You don't see that very often.
Well, I'm very happy to be wrong. Remember how I said this was going to get spread out and relaxed after a few laps? I was very wrong, apparently.
Totally wrong.
But hey, I'm very happy to be wrong. We love seeing these kind of battles, and it's really good to see Maxwell up here fighting where we know he's capable of being on the track.
And here he goes again, same area where he sent that in on the overtake. This time Dudley says, not on the inside, not again.
Yep, Dudley making those mental notes saying, nope, not going to send it on me right there again.
I don't think he expected it, and he just said, oh, there's a Ferrari on my inner. Why is this Ferrari here? And you have to back out. So, but Maxwell still with the fastest lap of the race. Oh, got a little bit loose.
Big wiggle out of there from Maxwell. You can tell just how hard these two drivers are pushing here. Because as they're battling, they are distancing themselves from 3rd and 4th place.
Yeah, this battle for the lead here actually benefits, again, Wagner, who had that involved in that turn 1, you know, bottom out incident at the bus stop, benefits him. I mean, as far as gaining time goes, he needs to try to gain as much room as he can.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. Looks like Wagner's still hanging around 19th at the moment.
Yeah, maybe this is Maxwell's, you know, he's always been just a stroke of bad luck. And this time around, he's just like, I'm going to go for the Glen. I mean, at least last race, I'm going to try to get a win at least. So we know he's got the pace, so. And we do still see their Poe and Boomstra just close together, and followed by Sweeney and Berg teammates, and they're just kind of hanging on their own there. They want to get involved on that battle. They'll bring their McLarens for the win. And basically, if you look at team standings, we have Boomstra and P4, Osborne P7. They are your team standings in P2. And then we have Sweeney and Berg with the P1 for teams. And you can see they've been consistent all season around. And that's why they've mostly top 1 and 2 for teams. As we switch over to Q-Master, by the way, P13 and Lee. Little battle on their own there. And almost got together at the heel of the boot, but Master was able to hold on to position. Now, Payan coming back. Trying to join that battle, but switch back over here to the leaders. Dudley, who lost his P1 for, you know, roughly about a sector or so until he took it back. And still followed close by Maxwell. And these guys battling there at the top just benefits anybody coming from behind, which are basically not battling at all. So we have, for instance, we have Sweeney and Berg just kind of cruising practically same lap times. Previous lap time actually by Sweeney was quite better than Berg, but about the same, so if you average it out. And we have now Osborne following Berg just about half a second. And currently in P7.
Yeah, and just after we switched away from that battle between Curtis Lee and Cube Master, Lee took over that 13th spot.
He did, yeah.
And now Cube Master under attack from Payant.
And still following Poe and Boomstra here, P3 and P4. And you can see the more conservative line that Poe takes, and Boomstra just sending that portion to the limits of the track. And just every time they go through the same sector, just Poe just has had those Porsche headlights the entire race. I mean, this is going on for, since the beginning of the race. It's like going on 17 minutes.
Not much breathing room there for Poe, so hopefully you're comfortable with a Porsche up the back end of your car, because I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
And Maxwell closing in again, leading to the bus stop. And this
Yeah,
is
kind of been going in
oof.
spurts here. I don't know if Maxwell's maybe easing off, letting the tires cool a little bit, and then going on attack again. Might have a little bit of a strategy going here as we see Do-Right go
Very
pretty
aggressive,
wide there.
aggressive line he took. And look at Maxwell. Oh my goodness. I don't think
Deep on the brakes. Yeah, had to avoid.
avoid Dudley's car. Very, very close. They'll live to see another day. And then who comes up? Poe and Boomstra. And everybody comes in closer. And they are approaching Yasirski, who would be their first blue flag.
And some kind of issue with Piant further back in the field, went from 19th to 23rd. Not sure quite what happened there. Didn't see a caution, but must have had a slight off of some sort.
Yeah, he's dropped quite a bit.
Right now, still the looks like the closest battle in the field is for that 3rd and 4th spot between Poe and Boomstra.
Yeah, they've been just kind of going back and forth, and sometimes Boomstra will have a better exit out of the last turn.
Something wrong with Wagner. Wagner parked alongside the track, totally stopped in the pits now.
And he is gone.
Towed.
So something happened. He's into the pits. P17. So an issue maybe with his car, but looks like he is no longer on the server, and we didn't catch that on the feed. But we'll try to check in with him, see what happened.
Possibly retiring.
And it could maybe car issues based on what he saw earlier with him going over again. He did bounce off. He chose not to repair his car, so that could have played something into what happened to him now. But Dudley still with the lead, still bringing his car home. Maxwell P2, Poe P3, Selena P4, and then we have Sweeney P5, and then Berg in P6. Osborne P7, and we have Wicks there P8. Otero with P9 and Barker P10. Your top 10 here at the Glen. 41 minutes to go, folks. Still a long time. And Maxwell just, you can see the different lines cars take. And Maxwell just seems, a couple of parts of the track, he just takes a very aggressive line. And then at other parts, Dudley just sends it almost onto the track, outside of the track. But Dudley knows what he has to do, currently holding that P1. And he's trying to go for that win here at the Glen. And currently, I would say he's might have it in the bag. We don't see Wagner here anymore. And that would be 0 points, and where Dudley, regardless of position, he finishes. As long as he's in here at the server at the end of the race, would give him some points. Now, the point differential is 7. Keep that in mind. And live standings update. Yes, we'll get you guys a live standings update in just a second. And we'll have Adam pull that up for you guys. We can see what the points look like.
All right, we'll get that standings pulled up for you there. Wagner retiring is going to result in 0 points. Stays at 528 for this race. So battle now looking like it's going to be between Sweeney and Do-Right. Do-Right was 632. Sweeney 584. Maxwell still holding on to that fast lap of the race. So Maxwell currently going to get that extra point, but there's a possibility any of these other drivers could steal it throughout the race.
Yeah, and again, Maxwell fastest lap was a 45.522, and you can see how closely paced he is with Dudley. There at the top is Dudley's fastest lap was a 45.565, so very close. Now, between themselves there at the top, they're just kind of going back and forth. So it's always a gap, a small gap, and here he goes again. You can see how close Maxwell comes out of that last turn. And, I mean, Dudley just wasn't ready for that earlier, and then I think he's on target now. He's like, all right, I'm gonna keep this Ferrari headlights. If I see them growing a little too close, I'm closing the door. Let's go a little bit of a ride in with Boonstra here, P4. What a season she's had so far here with D4, and her teammate Osborne as well. Osborne had some issues earlier in the season, just a stroke of bad luck, one left or another, and come through with 2 podiums in a row. And he's hanging there in P7. A couple of prayers that we did, was it 2 events ago, has helped him throughout the rest of the season, it seems so.
Yeah, I get a message here from Wagner telling me just too much damage on that car. The initial damage from lap 1 resulted in another spin, which pretty much terminally damaged the car. So I had to come in for repairs, and at that point, just decided to retire.
So there's your update from our championship leader. Again, still race is not over, and it's not over until it's over. And we do have Dudley still holding on strong to that P1. I mean, that's again, we saw our live update there in points, so it'll be a huge jump in points for him, but he just needs to keep it consistent at this point and finishes the race, and that might give him the win. And we'll keep an eye on that and see how he goes, as we still following Selena here and Poe. Absolute battle going on here with these two, and it's just it's rubber banding since this is about 25 minutes in. Great racecraft from these two, though. I mean, they've been keeping it super clean.
Having a battle for the superior Christmas color. We got green versus red.
And you can see there the McLaren just kind of taking off as they go up the hill, and it's such great, you just get such good speed out of turns from the Porsche, but you just can't keep up all the way on the straight, so it's really hard, especially here. I think you see how close she gets there from Poe's McLaren. Now let's ride around with Poe a little bit on his wing. And this is what Poe has been saying for the past 24 minutes, I'd say, folks. The whole time. It's almost a game of who is going to pit first. And Lee, by the way, looks like he was in the walls going up. Here, let's take a look at the replay if we can catch this for a second. Up the hill, and yeah, it looks like just right before I caught it, but he's out of the track. He goes into the grass, make sure his car is nowhere in danger from anything. But looks like his AMG is toast. The front hood is entirely lifted. It's going to be tough to bring him to the... Yeah, he's going straight there through the bus stop, and some major damage.
For the aerodynamics.
I don't think he can take the bus stop at this point. He merges back. Oh, wow. And he goes straight there. He got a little bit of a flashing car, some cars coming around. He's trying to bring his car into the pits. He's the current leader for silver. He wants to make sure he keeps that based on race standing, so he's having some serious trouble with AMG. And give you guys an update, by the way, just so you inform me. It's still a long shot, but Curtis does have the lead for silvers. Second silver driver is Payan. He's 84 points behind him. I just want to make sure he gets points. I mean, you never know. So, and solidify his win for the D4 silver guys. So.
Yeah, let's look back at Sean Daniels right now, all over the back end of Andrew.
My goodness. And they're going to the bus stop, aren't they? Yep, they are.
Actually, just missed a little bit of bump drafting before the camera switched there.
Just trying to slow Andrew down a bit. And not too far ahead, we have Otero. And we have White Scarver. It looks like he is setting into the pits.
White Scarver's actually off.
Oh, he's actually off. Yeah, he's off.
Oh, and another slide, too, from Payan. Same spot.
Replay, take a look and see what happened. I'm going to focus on Payan here, turn 1.
Looks like Payan might have tried turning too tight to go evasive there after seeing... No, just too much curb.
Too much curb, yeah. And he stopped at the exit of the pits, and he's okay now, but, oh, man. You'd hate to be that one car coming out of the pits and seeing that car sideways in front of you. And by the way, we have Berg. And it looks like Sweeney has gone into the pits, got his pit out of the way. Berg has taken that spot, P5. Osborne not too far back, P6. We'll switch over to Sweeney.
Pit stop time there.
Let's see what Sweeney can bring out of here. Looking for that 5-second stop as much as you can. And spending a little bit of extra time there in the pits. And looks like it was a 9-second stop for Sweeney. So considering that if Jess Osborne is able to nail his pit stop, that would actually put Sweeney a few positions back. He'll lose 2 spots if Berg is also able to nail his.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble for Friday there. Lost a couple spots, not too much though. In that 225 Audi.
And look at Boonstra getting a good exit speed, and Poe just saying, throwing the shoulders out there, said not here. And it's just absolutely sweet. We're going to take it right along here with Boonstra.
Boonstra's going to get to the inside, though, draw alongside the door of Poe.
I think she finally is going to be who breaks later.
Top end of that McLaren. She's going to back off a little bit. Let him have the position for now.
Oh, man, what a battle this for P3. And Boonstra just not able to stick. Unbelievable. What a race this has been there for the basically battle to the podium, as Maxwell has dropped about 2 seconds from Dudley at the lead. And Poe there just battling the entire time with Selena. Let's go right along with Poe's McLaren's wing view. This is where you'd see the Porsche gain a little bit of time, but then you see the McLaren just take off.
Yeah, absolutely. You see that Porsche get the initial launch out of the corner, but with this section being so fast, you just see the top end. Once it gets in the turbo power band, that McLaren just leaves pretty much everything behind.
He does, yeah. He's gone. Look at that. And man, it's been a pretty good battle between these folks. So let's see here. Switch back to Andrew as well here. P10, Daniels. Pretty close up the hill. This might go to the bus stop again. Here we go. It's a McLaren
Same
battle.
place he caught him last lap. We'll see if he bump drafts again or if he goes for the inside. Telegraphs the move really
He backed off.
plainly. Gonna back off though. Probably a good decision there. It's not the last lap. Don't need to take those risks just yet, as we're just 30 seconds shy of the halfway point.
We can see them. They're just going it. This is battle for top 10, so this is going to go for a while. Neither driver has spit, so. And there at the picture-in-picture, Boonstra and Poe still going at it. My goodness.
Not much separation at all. A little bit of separation formed between the leaders of Do Right and Maxwell. Do Right currently enjoying a 2.5 lead over second place, executing exactly like he needs to for this final race.
And Drew and Daniels coming along with seems to be Yezerski for a blue flag. And Yezerski has been outstanding, letting these cars just basically get through. Now he does see 2 more coming. He needs to come through here last 2 turns. Yezerski into the curb and now affecting the line a bit of Andrew and Daniels coming through. And look at this. Oh man, I think Yezerski will be yielding here. There he goes, pulls over to the right, lets them through. They live to see another day. Just under 30 minutes left in the race and in the season. Dudley doing what he needs to do. He's been Dudley do right. He's doing it right here at the Glen. And Maxwell closing in, by the way. And Maxwell's not backing out at all. About half a second. Again, he had dropped about 2 seconds. And now he's just about half a second from Dudley. And we'll switch the battle back over to, let's go right along with Selena a bit here as she comes out of turn 1. Oh, getting into sector 3, she goes, and now they're getting into some traffic.
go ahead and pop those live scoring
Standings.
on the picture-in-picture for you. See Sweeney and Berg really close. Of course, Sweeney already pit, so that is subject to change. Once DeWright and Berg also pit, DeWright holding a very solid lead. And I think we'll probably wrap up this title tonight if he can maintain where he's at. He's got a pretty big gap back to Sweeney and Berg as well. I think the only way Berg's really in it is if the other two wreck out and leave the race. But as long as they finish the race, I think they'll be all right, damage or otherwise. I think Dudley's got this pretty much wrapped up.
And Poe with a minimal breathing room here, finally. And what I mean is about still under a second, but just a little bit further away than he has been from Selena. Now pop the camera back over here. The two closest battles on the field now basically there for P3 and for P10. So podium and top 10 battles going on. Andrew, we have Daniels, who had challenged him for that P10, but was not able to finish the move, as they did not want to end both races at the bus stop, and that's where you need a really, really good exit out of turn 1. And if you do, you're still dangerous enough. You're going up the hill. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty good amount of your car ahead, and you're still kind of taking that inside line into the bus stop. It's kind of sketchy, so... we saw that if you don't take it the proper way, it can happen. That we saw there, Wagner, unfortunately, at the lap 1, bottomed out at the exit curb, and that caused this car to basically, well, he lost control of his car, ended up getting too much damage, as Adam mentioned, and end up spinning again and have to retire. And here we go once again as they go into up the hill. We have, again, the strength of McLaren out here with their top speed and just opening up that gap from the Porsche again. You know, these two are having a race of their lives. I mean, they've been going at it the entire time. I don't think there's been a time they've been more... I had not seen a second between these two the entire race. I'm thinking that when Poe pits, I think Selena's going to go right after it. Like, we're going to deal with this in the pits. And, you know, both these drivers need to nail it. If Poe does not nail his pit, well, you know what happens there. Just a second differential will make a difference on the standings. And this is for podium. And if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, Adam, this will be Selena's first podium. If she's able to find a way around Poe. I don't think she's been on the podium this season. She said she brought her A game here to the Glen, and it's showing, that's for sure.
She actually did have one podium. That was P3 at Donington.
P3, that's what it was.
Earlier in the season.
Earlier, yes. That's what I remember seeing that once. There was one more. I couldn't remember if it was official or not, with penalties and stuff like that going on. So. Oh, and it looks like Poe got a little squiggly there out of the last turn. But it doesn't look like Selena will be able to make a move. And every time you can see that different line. And you can see that line the Selena takes into turn 1 is a little bit more on the inside, deeper in. And look at this. Oh, she's getting really close as she backs off going up the hill. She had too much speed at the wrong time, I would say. And you can see her Porsche just kind of fell back. Almost gave Poe a push.
Yeah, and that's costly. Hopefully there's no little trickery there. I know Poe knows his McLaren has the legs over the Porsche on the back part of the straight, so might be a little bit of strategery and trickery there. Who knows? Could be server lag.
Oh man, they're going at it here. I think Selena's getting tired of this battle. She's trying to throw Poe off left and right, and Poe just unfazed.
Yeah,
nothing.
She goes right back up on him after the bus stop there.
Yeah, there it is.
That was quite the gap. That closed really, really quickly. This is where the Porsche should be real strong. I expect her to get a really good launch out of here.
And this is where Maxwell made a move on Dudley earlier, so this is where she would need to nail that exit and maybe challenge at the heel here, but not yet.
See how late she is on those brakes every
Yes,
time.
yes.
Gains about a car length through every braking
And
section.
If I'm Poe's McLaren, I'm looking at the, well, there's no rear view mirror on the McLaren, the little screen you get for your rear view mirror, I'd see those headlights just closing in. And Poe, I mean, that again, that can affect you. I mean, you get you out of focus. But Poe basically unfazed, just keeping consistent and not giving Booster any room, basically. So you can see there all the way in the back, about 6 seconds coming through was Berg's McLaren. Sweeney, who by the way is already pit, and you can see there on the left-hand side on your stand, he's got that green box next to his number of 669. He's leading the drivers who have already pit. So a lot of the drivers there at the top have yet to pit, and things should get sorted out towards the end of the race. And we have Andrew here and Otero, and that's look at Otero finding himself in between. So Otero, who was in actually P9, so he's fell back. And last lap was a 47 for Otero, so maybe a mistake there causing. Now these three are going together into the bus stop. Now Daniels have to find a way around, and Otero trying to put his BMW there on the inside. Andrew said no, not this time around. A slide.
Ooh, really bad line. Now he's through the grass after the bus stop, trying to play the mind games by putting the headlights of that BMW out to the side, but ended up messing up the entry to the bus stop in the process. Gonna lose yet another spot there. So drop Otero back to P11. Daniels up to P10 now.
So Daniels finally made it to the P10 at the expense of Otero. And again, Otero was keeping it pretty consistent there at P9, so we'll see. I mean, it doesn't look like he had any trouble. It was just maybe a mistake on the previous lap, and Drew and Daniels wasted no time in catching up. And checking on the chat, let's switch over to Gino. We haven't seen much of him tonight. He's already pit. We got to remember there was one race where he just he kept it quiet. From what I remember, just came out right there on top. I forget it was Gino. I can't remember. I'm getting names mixed up, but we haven't seen much of him. But he's already pit. He's there currently riding along with the top folks who have already pit. He does have Cockcroft ahead of him. So as we follow along with Gino there at the chat, we see Mapu saying, let's go, Gino. There is who you're rooting for. Let's small drive along with him.
Yeah, it's good to see Mike back in the ranks for the final race here after not seeing him for 2 weeks in a row. Missed out on Alton Park in Indianapolis.
And there's your view of your driver, Mapu. Not much help for us here on the stream, so that was a quick view of his driver on holding the wheel. There we go, back to the passenger view. And get an outside view of his McLaren.
And go ahead and keep that close battle between Poe and Boonstra on the picture-in-picture for you, because this just isn't stopping.
And I'm going to switch the main feed over to the leaders, by the way. Maxwell all over the back of Dudley again. So Maxwell's just Maxwell has just had, again, I mentioned earlier on the broadcast, and if you've just joined us, but a couple of just bad lucks. He's in a really, really good pace, and I think here at the Glen, he just wants to finally get a win.
Yeah, that definitely would be a great way for him to round out the season that has been full of highs and lows. Be able to cap that off with a win would be big.
Yeah, so the battle there basically for P1 and P3. As you can see, they're not too far back from these drivers. They're starting to go up the hill just now, and it's only 5 seconds. Poe is 5 seconds behind Dudley. Again, Boonstra basically practically next to him, as again, look at that on picture-in-picture battle going on between these two, and you just can't seem to find a way around no matter what she does. Poe just puts his McLaren just all over the place. little bit of a wing view here with, take a little ride along with Dudley, as this is where actually Maxwell, and again, that could have been Dudley losing a little bit of his rear, and I mentioned earlier that at the toe, if you don't push a little too hard on your gas, you tend to lose your rear a bit on mid-engine cars from what I've seen, and Maxwell probably took advantage of that as they're going for, again, and very deep on the brakes there on the 296 from Maxwell. Still not able to find a way around. You can see these top 4 drivers have been on, like, almost on their own, and then Berger currently P5, about 10 seconds from the leader, so pretty good for me. We've had Berg win a race here before. And Andrew, by the way, P9 with Daniels P10, as they did overtake Otero. Still kind of battling with each other there on the McLarens, as we're about to hit that 17-minute mark. Pit window for another 16 minutes, so you're going to see a lot of these drivers there at the top start getting into the pits, and things are about to get mixed up once again. As you can see, about half the field pit, half yet to pit. Let's take a little bit of a ride along with Maxwell's Ferrari. We haven't done that just yet. Hear that great engine sound and downshifting down into the boot. You see how deep that 296 goes in the brakes here. And you can see there, you got a little loose. And it's one, I've always had trouble with that toe. And again, mid-engine cars, again, not I'm not the fastest drivers you'd see here, so a lot of times I tend to forget, and I just kind of think of my gas pedal as an on-off switch there, and I feel my car just getting really loose. You got to be really easy on the throttle back there.
Yeah, definitely easy to do, especially with a car like the 296 or the Audi. Both have a lot of front-end authority where they'll kind of point where you want them to, and then once you get on the gas, if you got too much toe in there, it'll punish you pretty hard if you get a little too greedy with the loud pedal.
As Max was heading to the pits, he's kind of had enough of this battle for now. We'll keep an eye on his pit stop here. Looks like Boomstra as well, kind of tired of that battle with Poe. And we'll keep an eye on both of these stops and give you guys how quickly they're in and out of the pits.
Yeah, this could be a good opportunity for both drivers. As let's switch over to that battle. We talked about Mike Gino just a minute ago. He's actually all over the back of Pat Cockcroft right now.
He's about just there. Let's switch that over, and all over the place. Look at Gino and Cockcroft having to deal with that. McLaren gets loose out of the toe. And looks like, give you guys an update, looks like Boomster was actually a 9-second stop. So a little bit extra in the pits, and Maxwell with a 6-second stop. And that might affect things in the end. We'll see what Dudley's able to pull through with his stop.
No issues for Maxwell getting back joined with the track. Selena Boomstra's getting back up to speed as well. Looks like no problems there either.
Looks like it was actually a really, as they get up, we see Sweeney not too far back, and as we can see,
Maxwell the 6-second stop, just for as a note there. So
yes,
can't get too much better than that. So if Dudley messes up even a little bit in the pits, that could cost him the lead. So definitely gonna have to be on his game there.
And this is for the win. Remember that. I mean, Dudley at this point, 14 minutes left in the race. He just needs to finish. And I'm talking about as far as being on the top of this race, for as far as point gains go. A couple drivers have already left. We have 26 drivers left, and even at the bottom end, he should be earning enough points to overtake Wagner for the championship. And we have Maxwell overtaking Daniels. It looks like he's in P8 now. Maxwell with the fastest lap of the race, so getting that extra point. Berg is in the pits, so P4 Berg is at the pits, and that gives Osborne P3 provisionally.
And we'll keep an eye on how they cycle out there and get the standings, point standings updated once Berg reemerges on the track after his stop.
And also Berg with a 9-second stop, so a little bit longer than even said. But that actually, a lot of these drivers, Sweeney, Berg, 9-second stops, they should be coming out practically together. Let's switch that over as they were. And looks like
going to slide in right behind Cube Master, actually, as he comes back on track.
As right ahead of Sweeney. So they swap positions on the track. Now, Cube Master still has to pit, and so does Rose, P11. But both drivers, Sweeney, Berg, have kept it consistent enough and just cruising around the Glen, bringing home that team championship for now, which about 12 minutes to go. I don't see anything changing.
Yeah, you mentioned Justin Rose. Actually, a pretty solid day for him there. Up 13 spots already in that BMW.
And he's got Boomster was already pit ahead of him. And it's going to be interesting to see when Poe and Dudley pit there for P1 and P2 and what kind of pit stops they get.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with Chris Sweeney. We haven't seen him really advance from that 14th spot since he pit. So he's just been hanging out there for the past 15 minutes or so, and we see Berg actually came out ahead of him. So
lost some time, yeah.
Before they pit, Sweeney was ahead of Berg, and now they've swapped those spots.
And they have about a 3-second gap between the two drivers, so Sweeney maybe slow down his pace a bit and maybe comfortable with his current position as you know, that might not give him the championship. Again, was the closest driver to Dudley and Wagner there for the win, but that would definitely bring in the team win along with Berg ahead of him. So
we got a threesome of the pits. Looks like Jess Osborne to the pits, Riley Barker, as well as I believe one more.
Looks like
Darren Wicks.
Yes, Wicks. Yep. Yes, Wicks. And they've got their pit stops out of the way. Currently again, and Osborne came out just a few positions again, directly behind Sweeney, who he was actually behind earlier. So just slotted himself there, kind of where he was now. Previous laps for his best lap for Sweeney has a 45.912. That's earlier in the race. With Osborne's best lap was a 46.092. So it's going to be it's about 2.5 seconds behind Sweeney. That might go there towards the end. You can see there Sweeney at the bottom of the screen. So about 10 minutes to go. This might turn into a little battle between the team drivers here for the team championship, although I don't see anything changing with the current results. So it looks like Andrew, by the way, I'm going to go take a replay really to see what happened. Andrew and Daniels going at the heel together, literally side by side. And Daniels had to go wide. He had temporarily taken an Andrews. Oh, Daniels
gets loose there.
A little bit loose, but saved it. Almost into the wall he goes. He's going to live another day. I know Daniels was saying he didn't have his best qualifying session, but I could say as far as race goes, he needs a shower after this race. So.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on Daniels actually currently leading the silver drivers, putting together a pretty solid race so far. We've seen him all over the back of Andrew pretty much the whole race to this point.
And we can see Berg is overtaking Cube Master for that P9 spot. Cube Master still has to pit, so Cube Master maybe looks like he might have moved out of the way, let Berg through. And battle still for, let's say, P17 now, Cockcroft and Gino. Let's switch this over back to these guys as it's a little bit of an inverted situation. Cockcroft with the Porsche ahead and Gino with the McLaren. We'll see that McLaren maybe close in pretty quickly at the end here, but not enough. Looks like will not be enough at the end of the back straight here to the bus stop, but look how close the McLaren got from, oh my goodness. Just glued to the back of Cockcroft Porsche. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is another battle that's been brewing for quite a while.
Ooh,
Quite a
look.
while. Gino's been in this spot several times already, but hasn't been able to make it stick.
And he might
Looks
made it
like
stick here, maybe.
maybe that
On the
Porsche
outside?
really launched off the corner, though. It's possible through this corner.
Side by side to the heel.
Loses a little momentum off the corner. Probably had to lift just a little bit. Cockcroft's going to say, nope, keeping it for now.
And Andrew, by the way, has gone into the pits. And so is Rose.
Probably decided he was about tired of Daniels being so close for that long.
Yeah, and then Cockcroft lives to see another day, their P17 battle. And Gino just glued. Once again, they're going to go for it again on another lap. Let's get a little bit of a heli cam view of what's going on. You can see the McLaren just coming in close enough as they're going to go up the hill. And it's still too far out. That exit speed out of the turn for the Porsche gives a little bit of a boost, and you can see the McLaren just kind of closing in, picks up that draft a bit, but leaders, by the way, Dudley and Poe have yet to pit. So I can see a few of these drivers, and kind of just going based on our broadcast information here, invalidating their last laps and maybe pushing a little too wide. You want to make sure you don't get that drive through after a couple of track cuts. As long as you don't gain any time on your lap, stewards are a little bit more lenient, don't give you a track cut warning. But still, too many of those, you know what happens. As we can see there on the Watts out of the way he goes, lets both Cockcroft and Gino through for position. Otero in the pits, so that will drop him a few spots. That has moved up Berg. Q Master Sweeney, as Q Master still one of the drivers yet to pit. Daniels there at the top has yet to pit. And we have Boysonaw yet to pit in P13. A little bit of a ride along with Gino.
Just gonna go ahead and flash those standings up for you real quick. Looks like Sweeney's still hanging on to that P2 spot, 572 points per, currently sitting at 547. And Dudley Do-Ride still hanging on to that lead with a comfortable 632 at the moment.
Yeah, Dudley just passed two. I mean, here at the Glen, last week at Indy, has been absolute on target and was still behind Wagner for the championship. I'd say about a good 50 points leading into Indianapolis. And there was an incident there in Indianapolis, cost Wagner some time. It looks like here at the Glen as well, unfortunate. And Dudley just taking full advantage of that. And going, as you can see here, as Sweeney and Q Master, Sweeney has found a way around Q Master there for the P7, which looks to be their final standings as far as positions go. Any mistakes go. 4.5 minutes left in the race. Daniels heads into the pits. And so does Q Master, getting that pit out of the way. And Poe and Dudley just holding on out there. It's like they want to keep us guessing, see what's going to happen, right? It's like once they come out of their pit and see what happens. Boysonaw in the pits as well. Looks like just the top two drivers there at the top yet to pit, keeping us guessing as we're not following each individual driver's exact time. We'll definitely give you guys their pit stop time. And remember, if I'm correctly looking here, we see Maxwell with a 6-second pit stop, and Boomster there, P4, by the way, 9-second stop. And that was the early battle between Dudley and Maxwell and Poe and Boomstra. So once they pit, we'll see what happens there towards the end of the race. Just under 3 minutes, we'll see what our final results will look like. And we can see now Daniels, after pit stops and all that, he actually came out ahead of Andrew, and that was a battle that was going on for quite a bit earlier. So he had just was the last driver to pit, so it looks like a little bit of an undercut. So he's finally able to find a way around him, and not too far back Adams. As we're getting to the end of the race.
You know what I'm really curious to see? Well, yeah, we're, like you said earlier, going to keep us guessing as far as what Poe's pit stop time is going to be. That's probably going to be the deciding factor as to who gets that third position between him and Boonstra.
Yeah, they're still out on the track, and they're coming around sector 3 now, and we'll see if they choose to pit. They just got about 51 seconds to get into the pit. I'd suggest to get in now. Let's suggest to get in now. Do not delay another lap. You know what the stewards will say.
Don't delay. Don't put any tires over that commitment line. Shouldn't be any major problems on entry for either one of them. They got a big enough gap to the cars behind to where it shouldn't be a problem. Poe in the pits.
And let's take a quick look.
In the pits.
Yep. Now we'll give you guys an idea of what their pit stops. So it looks like Dudley out of the way. He goes there for a bit. As he crosses the final lap, so that will be they out of the pits they go, in one lap he goes. Dudley is still in the pits. 5 second flat. So with Maxwell with a 6 second, we'll see where he comes out. And Poe in the pits has nailed it. 5 second pits for both leaders, so they're on another level. As we can see here what is going on exit. Dudley, are they together? Yep, looks like Maxwell took the lead there at the end. So kind of throwing a little bit of a shade on Dudley's party. Even with that 1 second differential, Maxwell just pacing like madman basically after the pit. As you can see, a little bit of a flash looks like from Dudley. My goodness, so Maxwell,
you
what
know
a
what
race.
They say, you don't have to lead all the laps, just the most important one.
Which is the last one. I mean, they came out practically together, and I mean, at this point, Dudley knows he should be getting the championship here with this P2. But as a race driver, you just want to win. So he's not letting that go very easy. Look at him.
No, he's still giving it his all. He knows he's got the championship pretty much in the bag at this point. You know, if he loses a couple spots, that's not really going to hurt him too much.
Yes, he's going to go for it. And Maxwell going for the block, this time on the outside. Rolls reversed a bit here. As they're starting here on the heel of the boot. Last lap of the season, folks. Maxwell coming through here at the top so far, going through the last two turns.
Keeping it tight, just about 3.5 tenths behind. It's one slip up's all it takes from Maxwell, and we've seen that Ferrari get loose several times as it comes through the final couple corners here. Through the final turn, Maxwell's going to hang on to it to claim, what did we say, the cherry on top of a rough season for Maxwell. What a great win.
And Dudley.
And a great drive from Dudley, too, to claim the Drivers' Championship.
And Poe holding on to that P3, and you can see Boomstra back there with that P4 after that crazy battle. Berg comes in with that P5, and Swinney, the team winners here, P6. Another solid effort from these folks. Osborne, P7. Another great race from him. And we can see Barker coming there at the end with a P8. Solid race from him. Now, P9, we have Wicks coming through, and we have Daniels after he has found a way around Andrew there. He puts in on the top 10. So P10 for him. What a race. So Andrew there just looks like he might have run out of gas. Andrew bringing his car, he's not through the line. Either that or he's slowed down at the end. His car is parked. I think his McLaren's out of fuel. Into the pit he goes, so he finished P14. At the end there is a couple of drivers still coming through. Potvin, now P19, and then we have Boissonnaud coming through, the last few drivers on the track. That's a P20. And we have Payan bringing in his Audi. And last driver on the track is Friday for our finale here. As Friday just having some issues there on the last turn. Puts his blinkers on there, trying to get away. Is he out of fuel? He's just coming blinkers to the line. He's bringing his last car through the line. And he's got some headlight damage there due to the last turn, but... And that's it, folks. That's our Season 8 here at SRA Division 4. Let's bring in our championship winner first. And, well, we'll see if we're also able to bring in Maxwell because, I mean, that was a legit race from him as well. But let's bring in our championship winner here first before we move forward. So give us just a second as we switch over to our intermission page and bring in some folks here for some interviews. So give us a minute here. And it looks like our championship winner. Let's bring him over for an interview. We gotta get his feedback on how his season went. So here we go. And here we go. Let's bring him over. And Dudley, here on the booth.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
well, obviously, you know why we brought you here. Congratulations on you got a P2, I know, but hey, that was a championship win there. Heck of a drive from you there here at the Glen. Talk to us, man. How did it go? I mean, I know you battling there with Maxwell a bit, but how did it go overall for you?
Yeah, man, it was pretty nuts. Maxwell kept me honest the whole time. Like, there was definitely, like, he was keeping me just on the edge of my seat, man. Like, I was definitely sweating and working, and it was a bummer when I saw Wagner disappear in the first time through the bus stop. I was like, okay, well, that pretty much seals that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just really wanted to, you know, do well in the race still, and Maxwell, yeah, he was definitely keeping me honest, and he must have just put in some mega laps after he pitted, because I don't feel like I slowed down a ton through there. I made a couple mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what cost me is I thought about pitting the lap before I did and realized I might not have obeyed the pit entry line, which
Mm-hmm.
they were saying they were going to be really strict on. So
yes,
I slowed down and thought about, and like was going to dive in the pits because I was having some lap traffic pop up in front of me, and then all of a sudden I was like, shoot, I better not, and I like lost probably a second and a half or something right there, and that was enough. I think that was it.
That's what we were wondering at that moment. It was kind of interesting, and I mean, you basically pit stop wise, you nailed it. 5-second stop, it was great. And when we saw Maxwell was a second higher than yours, but you guys were so close, and we were wondering when you came out of the pits basically together, and we're just kind of like, how close were they? So, and I mean, you guys basically came out next to each other as you came out of the pits, and we're talking about it there at the end and say, you know, Dudley's a racer. He still wants to win. I don't care what it is. He's gonna go for it. So, you at the point you had the championship in the bag, since Wagner, yes, unfortunately had that issue there at the bus stop, and he had further issues down the race. Unfortunately, he didn't finish. So, that's unfortunate. It happens, but it is what it is. You grab the championship. You, I don't know what kind of shoes you got or what are you going to use, but you know what you're going to have to come up with.
I know. I don't know about this.
You better come up with something. I don't know if you use shoes for racing. If those are the ones you use, you don't even wash them, and that's what you drink out of. I mean, doesn't matter, man. You're going to have to do it. So.
They don't even have to be your shoes.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, congrats, man. You pretty much kept it, you know, the whole season. I mean, you had some interesting situations earlier, like a drive-through here and pit stuff here, but in the end, hey, sum of all points counts, and I mean, you brought it home. So, congrats on that D4 win. I'm pretty sure I don't think we'll see you at D4 again. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So,
Let's not make any rash decisions here, okay? Let's just.
we'll see what the admins say about it. But you obviously have great pace, and it's awesome to see you there coming out with the win there. Still P2 then at the Glen, but win the championship. So,
Absolutely. And
Yeah, thanks so much,
most
guys.
wins on the season too with
Yep.
3. That's most out of any driver for D4. So congrats on that as well. That's a big accomplishment and kept you right in the battle to the end, which allowed you to take advantage of Nick's struggles on lap 1. So I mean, you did what you had to do and stayed right there and in a position where you could take advantage. And that's, I mean, even if you can't, necessarily win them all per se, you did what you had to do to give yourself a chance at the end, and that's what worked out for you. So just congrats on an absolutely solid season, and here's to next season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for all your hard work this season, for sure. With just the broadcasting, you guys have done a great job, and it's been a pleasure. This is my first season with SRA, and it's been a really awesome time. Thanks to my teammate. He kind of had to bow out here for the last 2 races, but he did an awesome livery. Marty Space Baker. He had a great, and he came up with all the launch for that and everything with the nature theme, where we kind of memed off of it with BP Oil destroying the nature scene. But yeah, it was a great time, and I look forward to next season and look forward to getting to know all you guys a little bit better. And I guess I'll get practiced for this shoey.
You better. You don't want to get that ban, right? So, man, I'll put you back there on the D3, D4 race chat, man. And congrats again.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Got him, man. Alrighty, let's see if we. Oh man, let's bring a race winner, Mr. Maxwell. I mean, let's bring him over to the cooldown. We don't want to scare him because he had a heck of a race, man. Let's bring him over, and then hopefully we can bring in our team winners for the team standings. We'll see if we can bring in Sweeney and Berg over for that. So let's just bring in Maxwell first. So let's see what he's got to say about it. There, here we go. Alrighty, Mr. Maxwell, here at the booth. Do you hear us?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, man, we got to bring you in, man. First, I mean, heck of a race here at the Glen for you. We're talking about it the whole time, how you just been hit with bad luck here and bad luck there. I mean, you have a heck of a pace, and here at the Glen, you showed it. You brought your 296 there to the win, close win with Dudley. Talk to us a little bit. How did it go for you?
It was really great. Yeah, like you said, super, super consistent, and I didn't feel confident enough to get past, but I knew my pace was super good. We kept rubber banding back with each other, so I decided to Hail Mary undercut, and I got lucky whenever I pit when I come out. Clear space ahead of me, so I was just banging laps out, and it paid off. I got that last lap overtake. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, we saw you, you had a 6-second stop, and then Dudley had a 5 seconds, but he was mentioning that on entry and such, he didn't have the best entry into the pit, but then I know when you came out of your pits, you've been pacing pretty good, and we're kind of watching the exit, and we said, oh man, they're coming together, and right there on turn 1, I see you guys side by side. We're like, oh my God, he's, Maxwell's gonna go for this. He is not giving this one up. He's had bad luck here and there. He's like, if I'm gonna win last finale. I'm gonna send it all the way through, and luckily for Dudley, he didn't need a P1 at that point in the race. He ended up winning the championship. So, but you still put a heck of a battle there at the top. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Always gonna go down swinging, and big respect to Dudley because he played me fair the entire time, and he didn't take any risks. I didn't even know he was. I knew it was P1 and P2 for the championship, and I got kind of excited whenever we lost that second car on lap 1. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't
awesome.
sometime in the middle of the race, I know you overtook Dudley. Was there? I noticed it was out of the boot, out of the toe. Was there maybe? We didn't catch it exactly. We just caught you guys going side by side, and then you took. Was there maybe a? Did you notice there was a Dudley maybe lost his rear a little bit out of the toe, and then you took advantage of it, or he wasn't expecting you to send it on the inside?
Yeah, I think I had a consistent advantage in braking into the toe there. So I knew if I played it right and I kept putting pressure on him in that braking zone, that I might get lucky and he might make a mistake. And I think that one time that he did, I overtook, but I think he got me back pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
So
you guys kind of treated places like a sector or two later.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, big respect to him.
But Adam said you don't have to lead the entire race as long as you lead on the final lap. That's what counts. And
That's right.
so that's what works. Adam, what you got for Maxwell?
Yeah, I just want to say, great race. I saw your name lit up on purple in our timing and scoring for the majority of the race, and that paid off. Definitely trying for that undercut, and it was really exciting to
Yeah.
watch. A little bit nail biting, watching him wait till the very end to pit. We were
Definitely.
holding our breath as he came out on the pits, and just came out just behind you, which we absolutely freaked out about. So just
Yeah.
real entertaining to watch, and just congrats on being able to cap off the season with a big win here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, super happy to win on a high, or in the season on a high, considering all the bad luck this season. So, hopefully that bodes well for the next season. But yeah, it was a blast. I'm glad you all found it entertaining.
Awesome,
Absolutely. We'll hope to see you again next season for hopefully some more battles for the lead just like that.
Oh,
And,
I'm hooked now, right? This is my first win in like 3 seasons. So, yeah, I guess now I'm like
Well, you
christened, right?
just needed one, and now you know exactly what happens. So now you're going for it.
Exactly.
You're
gotta
good. You're
chase
good.
that feeling now.
Eyes out next time. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. I'll send you
Yeah.
back to D3, D4 race chat, and congrats again, man.
Thank you.
All righty, and let's see if we can bring our team standings winners. We have Mr. Berg and Mr. Sweeney. Let's see if we can bring him over because they've been consistent the entire season. So let's see if we can maybe bring them together and have a little bit of a chat with the two winners. There we go. Give us just a second here, and let's bring in Andy Berg here for our.
Let's bring them both in.
Yeah, let's
heck
bring
with
them
it.
both in. Why not? Let's see.
Oh, Sweeney put himself back. Hang on.
Yeah, there we go. All right. We have Andy and Chris, your team standings winners here on booth. Can you guys hear us?
Yep. Yeah, loud and clear, guys.
Well, Andy, congrats. You guys have basically kept it consistent the entire season. You guys came out on top with that team win. Like I said, I know this is the Glen. Talk to us. How did your race go here at the Glen this time around?
I've had pretty good pace, and I felt happy with my qualifying. I think the Porsches were just really strong here today, so I knew I didn't have much for Selena. They're just coming out of the corners. That Porsche just took off, and the McLaren, a couple bumps there, so it was going to be a tough in the qualifying. But I got it where I needed to be, and I started the race in third gear, so I got taken off the line quick, and then from then I just settled down behind Chris. He pitted a little early, and then. I wasn't doing math in my head, so I figured it was going to be good. Honestly, I don't know what happened to Nick until after the race, so bummer there. But happy with the team result for sure.
Yes, and like I said, you had a race win here at season 8, so we'll bring that home. And you almost had another race last week at Indy. It was close enough, but then Chris here at the chat with us as well. You guys basically kept it all the way consistent throughout the season. It looks like as far as team standings go, you guys ended up with 1,203 points, and with P2 for Comic Racing Lunar Motorsports with 1,039. So that's a huge gap between you guys at the end again the season. So Chris, you can hear us here. How did your race go here at the Glen?
Chris actually dropped out of the channel, so.
Oh, he did. I didn't see him. I thought
Unfortunate.
he didn't want to chat, and he didn't want to tell him. Well, because we're going to tell him that he needs to get a shoey ready, because team winners. Shoot. Yes, you better get. I don't know what kind of shoe, dirty, whatever you want to call it. You better get that video ready to go for the season 9 intro that we'll have. Maybe in about a month or so, and yeah, get your shoe. And Chris, if you're still listening, you better get that ready as well. As that is tradition at SRA, and but again, like I said, congrats to you guys. You guys kept it together as a team. You guys were no match in season 8 here at D4.
Yeah, he definitely didn't keep us guessing like the D3 is going to have to tomorrow night, where it's a 3-way battle. You guys had a pretty commanding and super consistent season all the way across. So really big season to be able to build on again. Like he said, with the first win already, it'll be really cool to see what you guys can do next season.
Yeah, I mean, the goal here is D3, and I'm ready to move up. I think I got the pace there, so I'm looking forward to it. But I'm actually headed to Sebring this weekend, so maybe I should bring a boot with me, huh?
Okay, here we
Well,
go.
Maybe.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. All right, Andy. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but again, congrats on that team win, and we'll see you next time here. Probably not in D4. You said like probably D3. So,
Let's get it, guys.
all right, man.
Raph, Adam, thanks so much for the streams this season. You guys were great.
All right, you got it, man. Anytime.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. And as far as the interview goes, we got the championship winner. We got Maxwell first win finally. You know, glad to see him coming up at the top there with his Ferrari. And then also the team winners, we have Andy Berg, Chris Swinney with the win. And with that being said, Adam, did you want to go through our sponsors?
Absolutely. These seasons, these broadcasts, none of this would be possible without all our supporters here at SRA, our title sponsors, and our regular sponsors, of course. And of course, Documise. Documise is a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more about their product today. And of course, Retro Saga. They're a North American-based gaming company that provides you accessories for your favorite classic systems, including, well, hence the name Retro Saga, hey? Including Nintendo, Saga. Now look at me. Sega, PlayStation, and much more. So enhance your retro gaming experience today and visit them at retrosaga.ca. And of course, a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer, making great products. Experience redefined gaming with their high quality sim rigs and accessories, and use our code SRATE at checkout if you buy some of their products to support us. We really appreciate that. And of course, thank you to Armamentario. They're a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win with a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. Great tool there, giving you all the data you need to see what your car is doing, improve your lap times, and hopefully go for wins like some of these guys have this season. And lastly, thank you to Go Setups. They have premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. And of course, that brings me to my final mention. That is the Discord. And of course, the website. You can visit the website at sra.gg to check that out, and you can see the standings and a breakdown of how this season has gone. And we'd love to see more people on track. You heard this is actually Dudley's first season here at SRA, and of course, comes in, dominates the season with a big title. So for the drivers' standings, and we love to see that, and we'd love to see more people get involved. This is a great community of people. They love to share knowledge and help each other get faster and improve their racecraft. It's awesome. Of course, we get to put on these great broadcasts here, which is a great time for us, and chance to showcase the talents of all these great drivers here. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, where there will be a couple more championships decided, both here on YouTube and also the SRA Twitch channel. So be sure to check out those links on the website and down in the description under this live stream and get involved. I'd say definitely keep an eye on that D3 championship too, because that's going to be really exciting. They got a 3-way battle for the team standings going on, so it's going to be a slugfest tomorrow night. So same time, same place, 9:00 Eastern, 6 Pacific here on YouTube. So be sure to tune back in for that. Raph, you got anything to add before we send it off for the final time?
No, just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I mean, we've had a blast here with broadcasting here, the Division 4 for SRA, and it came down to the wire. Dudley there with the win at the end, kept it super consistent, came out with almost 2 wins, the P2, but he still took the championship home. It's just amazing race again, like Adam said. If you're not involved and you want to join in, check out sra.gg, join our Discord. Quality here of racing is outstanding. As you can see, you have a lot of great drivers with racecrafts. That everybody's getting better. We have different divisions all the way to Division 6. So you'll find pace whatever you want. And again, you can always pick the faster drivers' brains to help yourself improve. A lot of drivers have moved from D6. I believe there's one driver from D6 to D1. So you can see you do enough practice to pick the right brains. You can definitely be there if you spend enough time on with ACC and be challenged there at the top with the fastest drivers. But just again, thank you guys, and yeah, I mean, again, tomorrow, Adam said that would be the final broadcast for SRA this season 8, and there's a little bit of a break until season 9 start, and then we'll hope to be back here in the broadcast booth. And other than that, if you guys are still there, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next season. Take care, guys.
See ya.